Hello friends, Pilot here. Welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. This is the second episode of Aerosoft CRJ1070 Ground School series, and this will be, I believe, the last one. In the last episode we left at the gate, pushed back and was ready to taxi. I taxied to runway 14 right, because there is nothing interesting about, taxiing in the airport. We are now currently holding short at runway 14 right, ready to line up and take off for our departure to Valencia. What we will do in this episode is we will line up, take off, we'll look at the climb procedure, we'll go through the checklists again, we will cruise. Our cruising altitude is 30,000 feet, and then we will do our arrival and we'll do an ILS approach to runway 12, runway 12 in Valencia, ILS Yankee approach, to finalize this episode. Hopefully everything goes well. I had bad luck when I was live streaming last weekend. My computer decided to crash, or my simulator decided to crash along with my recording software or streaming software, and eventually I ended up canceling the stream, unfortunately, due to that technical problem. I apologize for those of you who were watching the stream. That was something unexpected. I think it has something to do with the performance problem introduced with the latest patch that was fixed today with a hot fix. Hopefully when I live stream again that is not going to happen. Without further ado, let's jump into the cockpit and get this bird lined up for our takeoff, shall we? Hey, we are in the cockpit now. Let's take a look at the checklist. I'll be using my Track AR, and I think I'm gonna start using it more often in the videos. It makes things so much easier for me. So it's paused right now. I'll unpause it, reset the view, take a look around. Yeah, let's take a look at the checklist. So lights and strobes. Now we can turn on the strobe. Landing lights usually come on when you have takeoff clearance. We are not using ATC, so we'll assume we have takeoff clearance, and we are climbing to our cruising altitude right away. I checked the seed. There is a 7,000 above restriction and an 11,000 above restriction. I think we'll be fine with climbing directly to our cruising altitude. Fuel cross flow is this switch. We'll turn it on to manual. Flight attendants are advised. Actually, they made the announcement before I started recording, because they usually announce before you get to the hold short point. Transponder TCAS, that's down there. Let's turn it on. And then radar terrain, that's not working. CAS, nothing there. Takeoff configured is okay. Reversers are armed. Spoilers are retracted. Everything is looking fine. Now we can start our lineup for the takeoff. Let's start the chronometer and time our flight, and give her some throttle to get us to runway 14 right. So this is not the active runway, because I'm recording this on a different date and the weather is different, but I just wanted to keep the same runway. The takeoff might be a little bit interesting due to wind. We will have a little bit of crosswind during takeoff, so we'll see how I can compensate for that. But other than that, beautiful, lovely weather at Madrid. Early morning. The time is, I think the local time is 7:46. And yeah, we are about to hit the road. Okay, couple more meters before we line up. Let's slow down a little bit. There we go, this is better. Line up slowly, stop there, do a final check, and then we'll be on the way. What we will do this time is we will climb at about 1500 above ground and then engage the autopilot and the nav mode, and we will climb at a speed of 250 until 10,000, and we'll increase that to 290 when we pass 10,000. Looking down, everything looks okay. We can get this out of the way. This side looks okay. We can check the cockpit door. I have a nice addition to cockpit. Darth Vader is now guarding the cockpit door, so no one will be entering here. Anyway, so let's activate the takeoff go around mode. That will flash, that will lock the heading and the 10-degree pitch for our takeoff. Let's increase the throttle and let's wait for the engines to stabilize, and then we'll go toga. I'll try to keep her on the center line. There is a little bit of crosswind, as I said, coming from the left, so it's going to be a little bit challenging during takeoff. Our V rotate is 128 knots. Airspeed is alive. And yeah, the crosswind started to show its effects, as you see. This is not the best runway for takeoff, but we are almost at our rotate speed, so 128, and now we rotate. Let's correct the nose. 10-degree pitch, and then the pitch will increase to 15 degrees after we take off. Positive rate, gear is coming up, and we'll maintain the runway heading, and then keep that 10-degree climb. Flaps are coming in. We'll trim for 10-degree climb that the flight director is showing us. Okay, second level of flaps are in. We'll trim down the nose just a little bit more because we are climbing more than I want, or pitching more than I want, and we are going to try to maintain what flight director tells us. So speed is coming alive. Let's come back to climb speed, and then speed mode, nav mode, activate the autopilot. Alright, we'll climb at, as I said, 250, so let's set that, and we'll go and take a look at the after takeoff or climb checklist. Fuel cross flow. Now fuel cross flow can go back to auto. Leads and APU, they are off and checked. Engine bleeds normal. Yeah, everything looks okay. Thrust reversers, now we can turn them off. That's there. And then the CAS, nothing crazy is displayed. We'll monitor the altitude until 10,000, and then we'll clean up the lights and increase our climb speed to 290 until our cruising altitude. So that's the plan for takeoff. Nice takeoff, a little bit bumpy due to the crosswind. If I had to use the active runway, it wouldn't be the 1.4, but I wanted to keep the same flight plan and do not make any changes. Approaching 10,000, so a little bit more. We'll synchronize the heading bug, and we are almost at 10,000, so let's turn off the landing lights, and we'll set the speed to 290 for the rest of the climb. It's a little bit too much. Okay, 290 is set. Now the aircraft will pitch down, gain some speed, and then start climbing back up. Synchronize the heading one more time. Climb 290, FMS1, everything is looking great, and we are starting to climb again. So from this point on, we'll reach to the cruising altitude. Let's take a look outside, and I'm gonna wait until we pass 13,000. That's our transition altitude, and we have to switch to the standard parametric pressure setting. When that happens, which is almost any minute now, it's gonna start flashing shortly, and then I will cut the video there until the top of descent. Okay, it started flashing, standard parametric pressure is set, and all is looking good, guys. Beautiful view here. That's Madrid airport back there. and we are on our way. Very nice, very nice. Alright, so I will cut it here, climb to our cruise level and get close to the top of descent and bring you guys back when we are there. See you in a little bit. Welcome back, friends. We are almost at our cruising altitude. We are about to pass 29,000 and we are going to switch to a Mach hold shortly, Mach 7.4, and then the top of descent is really close after our cruise altitude. And I am going to check the chart. Let me pause the track AR a little bit when I'm looking to the other screen. So let's see the arrival chart. There are no restrictions on our arrival. And our approach, if I look at it, we need to descend all the way down to 2,800 feet. So the altitude is captured. We are almost at cruising altitude. We'll set ourselves for 2,800 before we pass top of descent. And let me see, let's get closer. So 3,600, that is 2,800. So when we pass top of descent, let's increase the range or no, decrease the range. When we pass top of descent, oops, what happened? The wheel got mixed up. Okay, let me fix this. Okay, and then yeah, it's better. When we pass top of descent, we'll command the aircraft to descend. I need to bring the speed down a little bit. We are done with climbing, so the aircraft keeps speeding. So let's drop it down to Mach 0.78. That is our cruising speed until top of descent. And then from there, we'll start our descent into Valencia airport. Pause this again. It is going to be better for me to focus without track AR. So that's top of descent, almost there. On this page it says we need to start descending at 2,600 feet. So let's switch to vertical speed mode. And then we pass top of descent, so we'll increase the vertical speed to 2,600 and then come back on the throttle so that we don't overspeed. Very good. So there is a blue ball here that shows you your expected descent rate to stay on the glide path or descent path. That's that star snowflake here. If you follow this snowflake, now it's telling us we are a little bit above now. So we need to increase our descent rate just a little bit more. And the aircraft should slow down more to match the descent speed of 290. And then that star will align back up with the PFD, showing that we are on the correct VNAV path. So that's how you plan your descent. Follow the blue ball, follow the star. If you are below, that means you are descending faster than you need. If the star is below, then you are descending slower than you need. So you need to increase the rate. If the star is below, you need to decrease it if it's above, and if it's at the center, you are perfectly on the VNAV path. Let's increase the range again to see better. I think this is good. We have a 10,000 set there. Remember the fixes that we put around the airport? Those are those. 10 mile, 9 mile, we passed that 9 mile one, I guess, because we are 77 miles away from it. We have a 30 mile where we need to be at least 10,000 feet. And then, yeah, we'll take a look at it. So I'll keep descending like this and follow that star and bring you guys back when we are ready to do our approach into runway 12 in Valencia. I will see you in a little bit. Okay, we are getting close to 10,000 and I'm slowing down to 250 knots. We are a little bit below the VNAV pad, so we'll decrease the descent rate. That will also help us with slowing down. Hopefully, we need to get to 250 knots before 10,000. We passed that 10,000 or above restriction perfectly fine. We are still on the VNAV path. Let me correct my view. I will turn on track AR or unpause track AR when we are getting close. Let's synchronize that heading bug. We now need to tune the ILS frequency, so we'll go to the radio page. ILS frequency for runway 12 in Valencia is 111.5. So we'll tune that in, 111.5. That's here, and then we'll copy that, put it to here. If we take a look at the descent checklist, it says, I'm trying to monitor the speed as well, guys, sorry. I need to slow our descent a little bit more. We need to get below 250 knots, hopefully we will. Landing elevation. Landing elevation for Valencia is 240, so that is this guy, the cabin pressure. So I am going to set that. That is set for 240 right there. We are now slowed down to 250-ish, so that is, I think, fine. Passing 10,000, let's turn on the landing lights and the passenger signs back on. TCAS is set, radar is off, CAS, we checked that, fuel, we checked fuel, we still have enough fuel to make it to Valencia, right there. Landing data, we entered the frequencies, approach briefing, we completed the approach briefing. So let's decrease the range to see better. So we should expect to turn there. If not, we will go and select the direct or heading mode to Opera. So let's switch here. So this intercourse, I think we should go directly to here. It's not allowed. Interesting. Let's see if the aircraft will start turning or not. If not, we will take and yeah, it's turning. Okay, that was a maybe visual defect. We are below 250. That is a good sign. We are descending a little bit faster. We need to get back on VNAV track or path. Yep, that is better. We are back on path. The star is almost at the middle. And we need to make it to 3,600 or above at this waypoint. So we might as well stop at 3,600. We started to pick up the localizer signal. And yeah, everything is looking fine now. We are going to keep slowing down to minimum clean speed. That is 210 knots, where you don't need flaps. But that's the minimum speed. Below that we will need flaps. We need to slow our descent a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit more. I'm trying to get back on the VNAV pad. Does that work? No, we need to slow down quite a bit. That is better. 1,000 feet per minute, I guess, will be fine. Let's see, I'm just waiting for aircraft to make the turn and get back on the set descent rate. Now we need to set the barometric pressure. That is now set. Now we are above the descent path, so we need to increase our descent rate. That's because of the barometric pressure, I believe. And now we are back on track, looks like. Yep, I think 1,000 feet per minute will be our descent rate, or maybe a little bit more than that. and everything is looking fine. We are at 210, so we will increase the throttle just a tiny bit to stay on about 210 knots. And we are getting back on the descent path, and I'm not sure what this aircraft is doing right now, to be honest with you. We'll increase the throttle, speed up a little bit. She is shaking. And I'll unpause the track AR shortly. We are, let's see, we are above the descent rate. We are going to increase our rate to follow the blue ball and get back on the path and make it to 2800 before it's too late. Very good. So when we make this turn, we are gonna start deploying flaps, at least flaps 1. Keep the speed, and then we'll wait for our short final. This is our 10-mile ring that shows us that we are within that 10-mile range to the airport. If I go like that, you'll see that. That is where we are going to start deploying flaps. We need to slow down. And we need to increase our descent rate, looks like. Just a little bit more to get back on the descent path. Alright. That magenta line is telling me that we will be at the desired altitude. If we descend like this, that is the airport right there. Now we made the turn, we can activate or arm the approach mode. And it captured the glide slope right away. That's interesting. We need to slow down, start deploying flaps. The aircraft will line up with the localizer. We will start deploying flaps. That is Valencia right there. And we are on our final. At 5 miles, that's short final. We are at 8 miles away. We'll start deploying flaps 1. That will slow us down. We need to slow a little bit more. I think we have a little bit of crosswind coming from the right.
Terrain.
And the GPWS is warning us because of the descent rate or the altitude we have and not having full flaps yet. So I am a little bit late to deploy the flaps, and as you see here, we are not slowing down to deploy more flaps. Maybe we should drop the landing gear. That will create some drag and slow us down. There we go, we are now slowing. We are still looking good. We'll deploy flaps, we keep deploying flaps. Flaps 20 is deployed, and now we are slowing. Flaps 30 deployed. And we'll go to the performance page, set the approach speeds, and we'll take a look at the landing checklist. Before landing, passenger sides, thrust reversers, we are going to arm them right now. And we will focus on the last stage of flaps. Everything is looking good. We'll keep throttle up because this aircraft slows down like crazy. So I want to increase the throttle. Okay, we are passing that 500. One thing I wasn't able to do is set the minimums. We will disconnect the autopilot and fly her in ourselves from here. We are descending a little bit more than I like, so we'll pull back and align ourselves just a little bit more. Puppy lights are not showing the accurate values as far as I learned from the forums. 200 is checked. We are still a little bit too low, and I'm trying to get back on speed. This is still something I'm learning in CRJ, the landing, but I think we are good now. We can slow down. We can get back on the slope.
100.
At the throttle, 100, and we are landing.
50. 40. 30.
Now I will flare
20,
slowly and let her touch down.
10,
We touch down, reverse thrust is engaged, and we will maintain the center line. Not a shabby landing, it's a little bit off to the right, left, but as I said, I was late to start deploying flaps and had hard time managing the speed. We are at 60 knots, we'll manual brake and take this high speed exit to vacate the runway. I think now it is a good time to unpause track IR and start cleaning up. We'll clean the flaps and then we'll turn off the landing lights, turn the taxi light on. That is good. We'll start the APU, and what we can do is we can turn off the probes now. Oh, wrong button. This is always hard to do. I'm gonna start doing this. Okay, probes are now off. Sorry about that. APU is starting. Strobe can come off too. And I think that's it. Flaps are in. That's showing 0. APU is starting up, and we'll find a parking spot somewhere right there for ourselves. Okay, couple things to mention. After landing, that's complete. Lights, flaps, sleds, transponder can come off now. And where we should park, I'll go a little bit to that side and maybe park after that aircraft or next to these two. APU is on, transponder is off, sleds, flaps are 0, lights are set, probes are off. Our after landing checklist is complete. Take this taxi away and should probably slow down a little bit. We'll take a look for an empty spot. I think we can use here. Maybe that's our assigned gate. So we'll make this turn. And let's see if there's a marshal waiting for us there. I don't see anyone. I don't know. Okay, I see one marshal right there, signaling me to the wrong place. I don't know why that line is not matching up with what marshal is commanding us, but we'll just see and follow the hand signals. I don't want to run into the tug. Okay. Alright, so that's our marshal, that was our gate. What we'll do at this point is we'll set the landing, parking brake, not landing, and then we'll take out the shutdown checklist. Parking brake is on. Seatbelt signs, now we can turn them off. And then anti-ice, yeah, thrust lures, we'll shut them down. The APU is running, so let's kill the engines. We'll turn off the taxi light. And we'll start powering the aircraft down. That is done. Anti-ice is already off. Fuel pumps, we'll turn them off right now. What else? Beacon, yeah, it can come off now. The engines are turning off, and then we'll disarm the nose wheel steering. So now, I think we can let our passengers out. We'll open the door. We'll place the chocks. We'll call for the ground power unit. Clean the master warning. We'll take a look at the final checklist, which is the terminating checklist. Chocks and brakes are in. IRS, we'll turn them off right now. Emergency lights, they are armed, so they are now off. Anti-ice is not on. Hydraulic pumps, we'll turn them to off now. All 4. And then external lights, now we can kill the nav light too. APU, we'll turn it off, battery, master and cockpit lights. So we have ground power available. We'll engage the switch and then we will kill the APU. And that's about it. If I turn the batteries off, the simulator will kick us out. So let's jump outside. Welcome to Valencia, guys. This was the end of the 2-episode Aerosoft CRJ Ground School series. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The final stage was a little bit fast or quicker than I expected, so there are some things that I wasn't able to do, like slowing down to the flap speed before the glide slope, and setting the parametric minimums. So don't forget to do these two things, which I wasn't able to do by myself. If I had a co-pilot, probably I would be fine. But other than that, I think we just followed the checklists. We followed the descent. I followed the descent checklist while prior to starting the descent, and there is not too much there. It says set the landing elevation on the pressurization panel. But that's about it. So if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps a lot to the channel. And if you are not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to get notified for future episodes. So if you subscribe and turn on the notifications, you'll get notifications every time I post a new video. I will be planning for another live stream, and I'm hoping everything goes well this time, as we had some bad luck last time. The simulators decided to crash, as I said. But until next time, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.